Okay. Second. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. This is the siyum we're entering into now. Of Yemei, the days of Tashlumin, of Chag HaShavuot. One second, let me pause it on 1 second. Of the Chag HaShavuot, and these are the days which are Tashlumin. The days to make up what didn't happen in the days of Chag HaShavuos, the Shlosh Mei Agbola, and all of that. The kinds of Rabbi Shlomo I really hoped and prayed this would be the end of the goals. We shouldn't have to enter the last day, which is tonight. I knew it's already nighttime. And the Abishah is Lubavitcher Rebbe. The rest of the sun is still shining. And it should be the full and complete milud with the bakosha of millions of Yidden across the globe. And tired of Bochum. Like what you are. Now is the time to push a Kodesh Baruch Hu and to beg a Kodesh Baruch Hu to make an end of this, the last, the darkest of all the ends. And it's going to happen. So why shouldn't it be now? For what reason? What do we get to gain and keep us another few minutes in Golos? There's nothing to gain. You, the Rebbe's Shefalach, the wonderful, wonderful Tzayin Kadashim of the Rebbe. So loyal to the Rebbe. So in love with our Rebbe. And so much discussions with our Rebbe. We have the koyach to call out to our Kodesh Baruch Hu and to say the time is over. Now let's just get on with the duel. Chaim l'chaim.
Chaim l'chaim.
So now, we're sitting in farbrengen across America. The farbrengen of where we are now. Now, they're weeks away from Gimel Tammuz. Gimel Tammuz, the day of light, the day of the Schat of the Geula of the Rebbe the Shrei. We got the news. Why am I hearing echoes? Is everybody hearing okay? We got the news that the lot of the Gzeder of Hepech HaChaim. That was Gimel Tammuz. Gimel Tammuz was also the day of Shemesh Begiven Done. Yeshua, the great chassid of Moshe Rabbeinu, who went to battle in the Mechemes in Givon, and he saw on Gimel Tammuz he saw that he was winning the war, but the sun was going to set. And then the victory would, God forbid, be lost. So he cries out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then came about the incredible mess of Shemesh B'Given Daim. The sun stayed up till the Milchama was completely over. These are the two incredible things about Gimel Tammuz. And then, when we come, Chaim again, and then when we come to our generation of Gimel Tammuz, a day we felt we would never ever see. That's what it was. We were not raised to even think this way. And here I am in Moscow. The Rebbe says, Shlomo Cunin with the Sivan with Moshiach, which now is the time for all of us to cry out to Hashem and say, the Rebbe gave our generation the schools to fight for the liberation. The Rebbe Svarim said in the Chaitzim, and with this to bring the Geula. We were given that schools. We're trying wherever we can. And now is the time for all the Rebbe's Kindle to try to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but to give every extra tzedakah that all the efforts we're doing on behalf of the redemption of the Rebbe Svarim should come about. That should come about quickly. So I was in Moscow. Knowing how difficult things were. And then in the morning, my phone rings. It's my son. Rabbi Zushi soll sein gesund. Einige Chabad-Schliere Pacific Palisades. Starting things by the Rebbe are not good. I went into the shul, I had the Yidden there, and we took out all the sacred things. In this shul that we took back from the communists, in the center of Moscow, the Polyakov shul, where the rabbi was killed in that shul on the city slip. Took out the sacred things and screaming to Hashem, this can't be. And then the lights went out. And I understood we have to go to the airport. That's how Gimel Tammuz started in my life. I don't want to go through all the painful parts of this story. But Kinderlach, we are all one family. We have to take chizuk from this. Miraculously, I got on the plane with a few of the other people that were there. And then as I was supposed to land in JFK, we're getting pulling closer. They said there's a weather situation. They're going to have to divert the flight. I said, Rebbe, this can't be. How could this be? We won't make it. I walked into first class. I told the stewardess, I have to talk to the captain. She said, you can't. I said, yes, I can. I will sit outside his door here. And I started to cry. I said, Rebbe, I know you're with me, Don't let this happen. And sure enough, a few minutes, the captain comes out. I said, sir, you have to understand, we have to get to our Rebbe. We're about a minute. We have to. He said, it's up to air control. It's not up to me. I said, you have to do what you have to do. I'm going to sit outside your door. That's what I'm going to do. And I did. They didn't know what to do with me. 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, he comes out. He says, you know something that we don't know. Who is this rabbi you're talking about? I told him. So we're landing in Kennedy. And tired of young children about him. Teenagers about him. I was the last one in the Rebbe's room before they took the Rebbe to the earth. And there at the oil, we took the responsibility. We said to the Rebbe, never will we allow your business to fail. We're going to build more and more and more. Afterwards, went back, what's Tia's going to do? I was there in Brooklyn with my sons. I said, we have to go back to Amakim HaShlichus. Amakim HaShlichus is in Los Angeles. Come back to Los Angeles, slept over the night. Next morning, come to my office with my torn capote. I'm sitting with my son waiting. We're looking at each other and start to cry. He said, Rebbe, that's not what the Rebbe wants from us. You know what we're going to do? We are going to show the Rebbe. Crying. We are going to show the Rebbe how much we recognize the Rebbe is with us. My lady was a bochad. I said, you know what? Let's get into my old car. Let the Rebbe guide us where to go. Get on the freeway. I wanted to go for this exit. It didn't work. I wanted to make a right turn. I made a left turn. Everything Yad Hashem. So we ended up in Malibu, California, along the ocean. As we're driving, I see a building with a sign on it for lease. I own her. And it says the Kanheim Company. No, it's a Balabasa man. I said, Leila, this is where we're supposed to be. That's just where we're supposed to be. I called him up, Georgie, I need to have your place. You have to do something very special for our Rebbe. I need to have your place. For when? I said, for the Shabbos. Till I find another place. And in the Yeshiva, we went. We opened up Chabad in Malibu. It's where all the maiden the Knesset that came from my heaven came from Malibu. The Abraham is a benchmark decision. So shall it be in the future. But all the Gevalde Knesset that we have seen will continue to go more and more. Till the Yule Amitis Hashem. But how does that come about? The Emunah, Simcha and Bitachon. That's how it comes about. Muna, Simcha B'Tov. Chaim. We were singing Nigen. They were sung You Test Tammuz. The famous day of that from the Rebbe's farbrengen. Many years ago. Very special farbrengen. Which we'll talk about soon. Chaim. Bechabakum Avim.
Say
Akavat Fatay.
I will say
Why don't we tell them to unmute themselves so we can hear them? Chaim. So we mentioned before, you test Tammuz. Many years ago. It was a farbrengen with an anniversary of the Rebbe the Shroud. I don't recall exactly 50 years or something. It was after Yud Beis Tammuz. And a Chodek was looking for me. Yud Gimel Tammuz. The Rebbe will listen, Van Foster. I stand the answer, and the Rebbe hastened. Good. That's the blind Mafshutas Tammuz. Okay. That's a full week. And then Chodekov says, if he is Kogona, when I come, it's told the same thing. And then Rabbi Moshe Fellows was angesund. Was a Yud Beis Tammuz in the farbrengen in the camp of one of the national organizations. He was told also to be Yud Beis Tammuz. Be'emtza hayoim, we were called into the Markaz. Rabbi Chodekov said, geht up in shul, the Rebbe kommt zu euch farbrengen. We went down to the shul. We were standing all in front of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe was farbrengen. The benches were flying, the tables was completely on. Nobody had an inkling of what happened. What's gekocht in this Nigen B'Tachon? So my mail sichas. After which we were told to go to the Markaz office. The Markaz office. And the Chodekov says, yes, you'll be able to go into the Rebbe. Can I hang some reden was you will. Whatever you want, you can talk to the Rebbe. That was what the master said today, the one who has the most to talk about, will go on last. Who is that? Rabbi Cunin says, that's me. Rabbi Feller says, I have the least. He looked at me and said, I have nothing to say. Because they said it already. So first thing Rabbi Feller went in, I went in, and all three of us had the same lashon from the Rebbe. And the lashon was, Dein Sein daheit is the symbol for my farbrengen. Your being here today is the reason for my farbrengen. Then the Rebbe started. Shleim, ich hab gehört. The Rebbe raised his voice. Ich hab gehört. At the Matze bei diesem Stub ist ein Matze von der Nies für Dachkuss und noch ärger. Shleime, ich will das nicht leiden. I heard that the situation in your house is a situation of extreme poverty. Ich will das nicht leiden. I will not allow that. Mamala, that is farbrengen with the Bacham in Pittsburgh, and they're all giving Mommy a big bracha for the 4 Shleimah. Is that right, everybody?
Yes.
Yes, everybody
Amen.
agrees.
Amen.
For all the million, but Mumalayim, should have it a 4 Shleimah. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Amen. L'chaim. Amen.
Okay, Mama, so I'll see you a little later.
Okay.
What was the story? When we went on shlichus, we had the first shluchim in America of the Rebbe, not of the previous Rebbe. We were from the first handful. We got paid $75 a week if you sent all your reports in and everything else. This is for you and for the organization. And you understand, I came, we started to build right away from all sides. As you remember, my father also had money. But what was I going to take money by him? So let's say Cunin was successful because he had a PhD. Papa has done. Tat hat Geld. I wouldn't take it. His grandson. And the Rebbe was very upset. Shleimeh, ich will nicht leiden, na du soll sein, hey. I don't
Rabbi Cunin, darf
Yes.
Masber sein. Darf Masber sein, also wie ich hatte Koffer gewähnt bei ein Jahr von diesen. Und der Fahrer, das kommt von Merkels, mit allen Sachen. Darf etwas Masber. So die junge dort, was hatte Koffer, ist gewähnt nach Reu auf Merkels und das. Der
Okay,
Fahrer.
I'll explain it. Thank you for telling me. I'll explain it. The Rebbe himself did not manage the financial aspects of the shluchim. This was done by Rabbi Chodakov, the head maskir of the Rebbe, and he ran the business of Merkez and the shluchim the way he saw fit. The way he saw fit. 1 second, I'm going to just take the call for a second to make sure it's not an emergency. Hello? Yeah, I'm in the middle of farbrengen on a Zoom in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to shut off my phone. Yeah, I'm going to shut it off now. I'm going to shut off my phone. And Rabbi Chodakov was the one who set the policies. And Rabbi Chodakov would hold the dollar very, very tight. There was not much money. And this is all fresh, you have to understand. And it was Rabbi Chodakov's responsibility. And the Rebbe usually never got involved in his decisions. The Rebbe usually did not get involved in his decisions. You see this in the farbrengen of Yudalef Nissen Shnas HaShivim, where the Rebbe says that I want to have new institutions, which that year we had the schus to open up 12 new institutions for the Rebbe. Shnas HaShivim, the Rebbe wanted 71 new institutions, we did 12. And the Rebbe said, that's farbrengen. I'm going to have a special fund, and I'm going to distribute 10% to those who want to open up new institutions, 10% of the cost. And the Rebbe smiled and said, and I'm going to handle this myself, not to Rabbi Chodakov. And I will advance the money, which obviously Rabbi Chodakov would never have done. So the Rebbe never involved himself in these day-to-day operations. But in this case, the Rebbe said, I spoke to Rabbi Chodakov. I said, I'm going to him. You go into him, which the Rebbe took the unusual step of telling Rabbi Chodakov what to do. And the Rebbe said, so costs to live. You'll figure out how much it costs you to live. Whenever you need more and increase, you'll just call up, you'll get it.
I'm saying with that Ibegeben, as there was a shliach that needed, if he couldn't push it, that nicht getting fish of Shabbos. He asked by Chadikov for the Rebbe told him get to Chadikov, so Chadikov gave him a quarter raise, 25 cents. So he asked by Chadikov, let's have 25 cents. So Chadikov, Kolanesim by Yofanesim.
Well, that was not the case with me. So whatever the case is, he did it with a big simcha because Chodakov was the Rebbe's Chassid. And he would say many times, "Du hast einen eigenen Kanal zum Rebbe. You have your own channel to the Rebbe." For example, and if I go off the path of what I'm talking about, feel free to chime in and bring me back. Because I do this all the time, 770, when I farbrengen. Shabbos Mevachim, Motzei Shabbos. I have Bochum that say, okay, let's go back now to this point. The bottom line is the Rebbe, after the stroke, not after the stroke, after the heart attack in Lamed Ches, the Rebbe said, das ist nicht mein gesund, so machen ein Moshiach shel Torah and a Moshiach shel Tefillah. Institution of Torah and the institution of Tefillah. I sent a telegram right away. I was back in Los Angeles. I was in New York in Lamed Ches. I don't want to talk about it. I was upstairs in the early moments after the heart attack. In 770, I don't want to talk about that now. I don't want to go there. Chaim. You shouldn't think I'm drinking muscular wine. It's honey water to help with my throat.
Rabbi Cunin, Sam, du willst das reden wegen dem, aber als wie Schmelach, der Melech, Shapiro, nicht Shapiro, Schwalter und der zweite Baumgarten, das hat gerade so dann echt in Lamed Ches, sein Gewinn reingemischt in dem, oder ist das eine besondere Sache?
Well, so you're talking about Barber and Spalter.
Yeah.
So when I tell the Bochum in 770 when I farbrengen, I say when there's a question, either I answer yes, or I answer no, or I say I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
But the answer is
with the mice.
I'm not going to talk about it.
Okay.
I've answered the question.
Okay.
So now I'm back in Los Angeles, and I sent the telegram to the Rebbe. And then I called Rabbi Chodakov. I sent a telegram to the Rebbe. And in the telegram, it says, ich habe untergenommen, sich machen a Yeshiva and a shul. And the shul, it says, was ein offen Shabbos. That's when we opened up. I rented a place on Pico. I went there, took a meeting with. It was the early days before it was a real Jewish neighborhood it is today. With the beautiful copy of 770 in the center of the whole neighborhood, the largest Jewish neighborhood outside of New York. Pico Robertson's called. So Chodakov says, Mela Shul verstehe ich. Aber a yeshiva says Bamsa Seder. The Rebbe is never going to allow it. Then he says also they're making a canal. You have your own channel. What's the effect? See what the Rebbe answers. And the Rebbe was ma'asher to make a yeshiva. And I found out who was the biggest Talmud Chacham in America that I could have a possibility of getting. He told me it's Rabbi Ezer Shochat, who was then working in a Mossad Nishtunzere in Toronto. I called him up, and within weeks he came. We opened up Yeshiva El Chon Chabad. There was the Geya Mein Gesund. That's what you have to do. And obviously the Mossad Tefillah, which we opened up already that Shabbos. The point that I'm bringing all of this up is the Rebbe never ever left us alone. No good Tati would ever leave his children alone. There is no better Tati in the world than our Tati. He never ever would have left us alone. No. And Kinderlach, as long as you know that. So before you go to sleep at night, you have to make a cheshbon kishur sha'amita. Not only that, you're all sequestered in different homes with your various electronic equipment. Yishama v'yizayir, don't ever turn into anything else other than the Zoom with your Rosh Yeshivas and Mashpiyim and Chavedim, etc., etc. It's a big Nisayan. Watch out. Not for a second to touch a different button that doesn't believe, that doesn't have to be touched. See, I have no problem with that. I don't know Zoom, Smoom, or any of these things. This is my phone. That's all that I have. I have the Rebbe's voice on it I listen to every morning. I'll play it for you. Hold on. If I can find it here, let's see. One second. Oh, I shut off the phone. Never mind. That's what I listen to every morning. After brachas. Before I go forward in life. Because that's the Rebbe's message, the marching orders. You have to make a cheshem tzedek of the day. And you say, how did this day go by? And you give a look. You say, it was a rough day. I was home alone. I tried my best. Then I had the creepy crawly tzveikis of Amalek. Then I said, Timcha Zecha Zecher Amalek in the morning by the tefillas. So many years in Golas Gewalt. Then I gedam to gelernt. I was kind to my brother or sister, my parents. Then you close your egos before you say Shema Yisrael. And you look at the Rebbe's picture or the Rebbe's video in your head. Say, Rebbe, I have tried my best for you today. I really have. I can't do any more without your help to make tomorrow a better day. To make tomorrow a better day. And then when you say Shema Yisrael, you say I'm up. That's how your night begins. The state is Gaber Kari in the morning. But you can't go to sleep like a dog and wake up like a lion. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. So you go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, same thing. Thank you, Hashem. And then you close your egel and say, thank you, Rebbe. It was a beautiful night. Or Rebbe, the night was not so good. Could you make my day a better day? That's how you give. That's a skashus to our Rebbe. That's what it is. That's what we are all about. The Dora Shriya is there. But Moshe Rabbeinu said, "He's all of me, aid me, call Adam Asher al Pnei Adama." B'shas he looked at you, Kinderlach. Not looking at our moon and Simcha B'Tachim. Our moon, I mean the white beards. They had the schusim, physically, to be with the Rebbe so many hours. It's such a, to hear mit Piv Kotshe, Sichas, my mother, the Yechidison. But you kinder, they were born generations afterwards. On of me eight. Moshe Rabbeinu was on of me eight. He was humbled by your Amunah Simcha B'Tachim. He was humbled by your Amunah Simcha B'Tachim. And that's what we have to do. And we have to make a gewaltige Keravet to the Eibishter. Don't let this Gimel Tammuz come about to be without the Gula Amitis Vashlema. We are not masking. We, your Kinderlach, Eibishter, we will not let you get away with this. You, Eibishter, are suffering, as the Rebbe says. You, Eibishter, you are suffering. You are suffering. Why should you suffer? Ima Enechi B'Tzara, the Eibishter says. Look at the suffering of our Rebbe as he watches his Kindle suffer. As he watches his Kindle suffer. Hey, du Hashem.
Okay.
L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
L'chaim. Rabbi Cunin.
Yes.
Kannst du even sagen, in the Bachrim, what keeps you going? Jeder Tag nachher mit Schwierigkeiten, mit 25 Jahren, wie wir dann noch gemacht haben. Und jeder Tag wächst der Hof mit Ani und der Stichos, da viel mit zu füllen, mit alle Sachen und noch zusammen alles. What keeps you going? I say, stark.
Also,
One Rebbe. That's all. Nothing else.
But what?
One Rebbe. Our Rebbe. Nothing else. Can you imagine that a year ago, Beis Tammuz, buying a sifra of hundreds of people from the city in a big hotel that was organized by my son, Rabbi Shlomo Cunin.
Oh, sure.
Sitting next to me and say, Tati, because I was very, very strong. He said, Tati, it's okay. It's okay, Tati. Then he walked me to my car and said, Tati, it's going to be good. And then Hashem took him home the next morning. Okay. And what's his name? He was born. My Rebbetzin and I looked at each other. We said, we've had Baruch Hashem so many wonderful kinderlach. Let's give him a name. Samach Yeshua. Samach Yeshua. But the Yeshua, the Geula Amitis Vashlema, as Moshiach is Samach Shmai. It should happen now. That was his name we gave him. That was the reason he got that name. And then, the next, when my son Rabbi Yossi came, to my office, he tried to talk to me. He said, Tati, I want to talk to you. I saw something was wrong. I stood up. He felt crying in my arms. He was able to tell me what happened. And then after taking care of everything I had to do, with the Chevra Kaddish and all these things, I went back to my office. I sat down on the couch. I said, Eibishter, what? What do you want? What? Ich bin gelost an Mona mit Yisrael. What do you want? And then the Rebbe comes to me. It reminds me of a story. My mommy, Allah Shalom, was 56 years of age. Like a daughter of our Rebbe. We never knew it. The whole family was killed in the Holocaust. Brothers and sisters, we never knew. She never told us. Very close to the Rebbe, the letters and the kiddush. And then my father calls me out of Shabbos. The Shleimer. Shleimer, call the Rebbe. Mommy is in the middle of a surgery for gallbladder. She had a stress ulcer, which in those years was poisonous. They had no antibiotics like we have today to take care of it. You have to call the Rebbe to save him. Whenever I would call, the Rebbe would be on the line to Rabbi Chodakov. I get on the line and I start screaming. Sie hat weggegeben dem Leben. My mommy gave her life zum Rebbe. She gave away her children to the Rebbe. The Rebbe darf ihr raten. The Rebbe kann ihr raten. Darf ihr raten. Come on, my Rebbe soll ihr raten. Screaming. The Rebbe could save her. Come on, my Rebbe. I'm pushing, begging, beseeching to save her. Becomes quiet. And then Chodakov comes back on the line officially and says, Man will wissen, we want to know. Sind wenn nicht so schlimm in Balabatischkeit? Since when are you mixing in Balabatischkeit of having to run this world? That's the message I got that morning. And that's why I'm able to talk to you and farbrengen with you tonight. We kennen sich nicht mischen in Balabatischkeit. Kennen sich nicht mischen. Aber wir kennen sich hier mischen. Wo man darf sich mischen. Is not to let for one single second they're able to rest. Not for one single second. To let the able to rest. I will not let you rest. You hit me. You know what I'm going to do? Like I did today. Mamane, 2 new shluchim, 2 new cities. More than 43, my tzarech was 43 years old. 43 new institutions, mikvahs, shluchim, new cities. I'm working towards 70 to 70 years of Messias of our Rebbe. It's our Rebbe that keeps us going. And Kinderlach, he can keep you going also. But you have to reach out to him, you understand? As every Tate understands his child, the child has to understand the Tati. And then you'll get the courage from the Rebbe. You're going to get it. And all the difficulties. I got hit with a horrible day. I couldn't control myself. It was a terrible day. I'm your bocher. Yeah, but Rebbe, make me tomorrow a much better day. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to chazer a sich of yours. Odom lo'omal yivolet. Yud alaf nissen. Shnas hashivim. Odom lo'omal yivolet. A person is born to serve Hashem omal. Yigia. Hard work. And the Rebbe says, shortening a very long 3 sichas. that the Eibishter made us shutef like Kodesh Baruch Hu, to our Omer or our Yegiya. And the Eibishter, and the Rebbe says, the Eibishter doesn't want we should learn for schwarz with the Mamo. The Eibishter doesn't want that our faces should be blackened from this horrific fight we have to deal with. So the Rebbe says, it's like the story of the one who wanted to bring a matana to the Beis Hamikdash. And he had no way, had no money. He sees this big, gigantic, beautiful boulder. Says, this belongs in the Beis Hamikdash. How could I get it? So the Eibishter sends malachim, like people. But he has to do something about it. Put your little pinky on the stone. And then the malachim dressed up as people with the boulder, with this wonderful, wonderful tzaddik that wanted to bring it to Yerushalayim, flew to Yerushalayim, Yer HaKodesh, with an esbaktana. Memont ba'ons, a esbaktana, do a little bit more than you think you can do. Esbaktana, a little bit more. That's what you have to do. So force yourself. Amal Torah. Put yourself into Torah. Amal Tefillah. Amal Sicha, which is Amal Tefillah. Work to them. When the Yetzer comes to you and you're trying to concentrate on what you're doing, whack! Hit him in the face! Get out of here! I'm talking to Hashem. That's like fire sitracha. Made in the emissary you have. The Sava Kodesh Baruch Hu Liyas Lo Yisbarach Dira B'Tachtonim. The Eibishter wants to rest in you. How do you do it?
Yeah, you
like
see
fire
it?
sitracha. Push him away. Get him out of your head. And then, Amal Mlucha. Pick up a phone to another one of your chaverim, or your family members, or somebody on your Mivtzoyim route that you used to go Mivtzoyim, and now you can't. Hi, Sam. I used to come to your office all the time. Remember, Sam, you got a pair of tefillin I think I gave you. Say with me together. That's what I do every day. I never miss a day without Mivtza tefillin, 100 years away. Now I do it on the telephone. Sam, take out your tefillin. That's it. But Rabbi, it's not as good as when you did it. There's no way to put on tefillin that's bad, Sam. You think God really cares? Now say with me the blessing. I did it today. I ambushed a Yid a year ago on the street in Beverly Hills. A basic veer, not knowing who he was even, walking with his kids on the street. I said, I want to put on tefillin with you. He says, why don't you come into my house? And today, we did Mivtza tefillin with him and his two, the twins, the mitzvah boys, which formed this ambush. Ambush means when you come to someone without an appointment. And you smile at him. Rabbi, I have no time. Sure you have time. How do you know when your last minute is? So you have to make time. Come on. Took me into the house. And Baruch Hashem, today he's tied up with an angel of mine, Goodman, so sein gesund, teaching his kinderlach. All three of them with the tefillin on today. That's even without a Zoom. That's Amal Melacha. That's Melacha that you have to do outside of store. Get people on the phone, get them to do things. Be mechazik when you are. And that gives you the kochos to go forward. That's all there is to it. And when you finish, then you say, Rebbe, I brought you a beautiful gift today. Could you ease up on me a little bit? Could you talk to Hashem? Just to ease up a wee bit. Give me a wee bit of care. Give me a wee bit of peace.
Rabbi Cunin.
Yes.
You also had the Meister with Sam, with the Holocaust survivor Sam. It's like coming to Essen by euch und danach. Yeah. The Meister from
Many stories.
Yeah.
Many stories. Now I can go on with, we can sit here for a week, but I have to done Mincha before it gets too dark at night. As far as that's concerned.
Just for a second, if you can make a l'chaim to Rafal Naftali, this is it's his birthday tonight. You'd be Sivan. This is Yossi Markel's grandson.
Yossi Markel's grandson.
And by the way, Agav, sitting here with us also. I don't know if you could see him, but sitting with us, a big mashpia in Pittsburgh. I think you know him, Bitzalel Melamed. Maybe you know him by Steve Melamed. He's a big mashpia.
He sent me an email not long ago. I owe you an answer, Steve. L'chaim.
And please keep talking as long as you can until you have to stop. Everybody's listening. We want to hear as much as you're able to.
So you know what? Why don't you sing some Nigunim? I'm going to stand Shemoneh, and I'm coming back to you.
I don't like to sing like you.
Hello?
Yeah.
You heard what I said?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to stand Shemoneh, I'm coming right back, okay? Okay.
Bitzalel can is Bitzalel there? Whatever, Bitzalel stepped away also. Where's Bitzalel? Bitzalel. Right, so maybe I'll show you. So Chevra, Bacharim, just want to try him. All of you, myself also, I suppose. First of all, Chaim fully, it's a birthday, so Chaim, you should give your parents lots of nachas, although I can't say I'm unbiased in that. Especially also to give the Rebbe nachas, to give the Eberster nachas, the Rebbe nachas, which is the same thing. And if I have one wish for you on this day, it would have been really for all of you. It would be, sometimes you hear people it's like a thing you hear people say, but nobody in Crown Heights this, nobody in Crown, or something like that. Crown Heights isn't the Eibishter is your Eibishter, the Rebbe is your Rebbe. So, in other words, the whole point of life, ultimately, is to remember that Hashem Echad Shema Echad, that we have an Eibishter, his identity, his Yud Kei Vav Kei, that's not only his name, it's his identity and his name, and that's one thing. And it's to remember that in everything we do. And then we have a compass, which is the Rebbe. The Rebbe is a compass that always tells us, are we closer to that, or are we further to that? Whatever we want to know, are we closer to the Eibishter? And the thing, sometimes it's easy also to start thinking of somebody else's concept of the Eibishter, or what the Eibishter is meaning for somebody else to do. And, in other words, when we look at other people, what does this person do? What does that person do? I don't know what somebody else does. And the truth is, sometimes it takes a few years in life to chop that. My blessing is to all of you, is that you should chop that early on. Is that ultimately it's taka enid mulvade. There's nothing else but they sound important. It sounds like something so unbelievable. There's nothing there. Everything's a compass, and you're looking for it. If you're looking to find, then the truth is to find your truth, because it has to be you. You have to realize. In other words, if at any point you're feeling like the Eibishter is not your Eibishter, feeling like I can't talk to the Eibishter, there's like a middleman or something, then the other can always. When you learn a sikh, you learn a mimer, you learn also open. He doesn't come through Crown Heights. He comes straight through a Likutei Torah, straight to you. A little bit like Rabbi Cunin was saying before, and hopefully he'll continue. But in other words, he said, in other words, Rabbi Chadikov told him that you have your own channel. You have your own channel to the Rebbe. The truth is, that's all of us. Is that every single one of us, if we want to see it, and if we're looking for it, we'll find that we have our own channel to the Rebbe. And ultimately, our own channel to the Rebbe means our own channel to the Eibishter. It's not a different thing. It's the same thing. And sometimes we look around us, and remember, other people around us are people also. No matter how big or how small they are. In other words, there's only one true compass. Doesn't make a difference what everybody else is following. In other words, if you could have a storm, and in life you have many storms, you could have somebody who's in a storm. There's ships in a storm, many ships in a storm, and you're in a ship, and you can say, yeah, but look, there's an admiral, a big admiral over there, and he's going the wrong. My compass tells me go this way, but he's going that way. But if everybody follows the admiral, and the admiral goes the wrong way, so you'll all end up the wrong way. So in other words, remember to always look at your compass. Not just that, maybe you'll find out that the admiral was intending to go somewhere else in the first place. Maybe his destination was somewhere else. But follow your compass. Open, and the compass is you open the Likutei Sichos, you open the Likutei Torah. Doesn't make a difference whatever speaks to you, and you look in there, and the Rebbe is telling you where to go. So that's my bracha to fully is ignore all the things that are, in other words, in life, b'chlal, and sometimes when life gets in storms, and everybody around, people think different ways, especially when you have things like now where it's hard to connect with people, it's hard to do seder, it's hard to farbrengen the same way like usually. So you should always keep that compass, and ultimately, the Rebbe is that compass that leads you to the Eibishter. There's no other true compass, but it's my bracha to fully, the birthday boy. And Rabbi Cunin, you're almost ready to speak again. What? I can't hear it. 1 second. What's going on? Oh, I think he has to unmute himself. Rabbi Cunin, you have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you without you on here.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I'm just ending off with a bracha to fully that he should remember that there's nothing else in the world that's important but the Eibishter, and the Rebbe is the only compass to that. And as long as you find the Eibishter, Chaim fully, that you should always be able to and remember that, and not be distracted by other people and other things. Remember what the truth is.
What I'd like to say is, since we'll be spending more time now, if this is being recorded, I'd like to share it with my Talmidim in the yeshiva here by us.
Yeah, you want, it's up to you. You decide if it's recorded or not. So far, we're recorded. Should we continue recording?
Yes, continue recording, and then I want to share it with my talmidim in the yeshiva here. So it'll be already my farbrengen for the end of the tag from the Yemei HaTashlumin.
No, I don't want.
So whatever the case, if it's possible, fine. If not, not.
No, 1 second. We're just muting because people, while they were singing and things, they got unmuted. We're just muting so we can hear you clearly. 1 moment. Okay, you good? Okay, go ahead.
L'chaim. So you see, so you're taking care of that, is that right?
Yeah, it's recorded, and I'll share with you the I'll send to you. Tell me, I can send it to you or to your son Mendy, or you tell me.
Yeah, you'll send it to Shalom or to my son Mendy, whatever you want.
I'll send it to Mendy and tell him you want it. How's that?
Perfect. That's perfect. Okay. So one of the things, shlichus, you have to remember, when shlichus started, everybody thought it was a joke. We were young people in the 60s, and the people would say to us, the Rebbe had Shlamazolim that couldn't make a living in Crown Heights, and there would be a source of embarrassment to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe came up with a plan to get rid of them. That was the chizuk we had when we went out on shlichus from the people. That was the line of thinking from the people. Somebody said to me, you know something? You know you're a good plumber. You know how to run a printing machine. So when you come back in a few weeks, when you fail in Los Angeles, I got a job for you in this country. You'll do the plumbing in the institution and you run the printing machine. So thank you for your chizuk. But that's what shlichus started out, as far as that's concerned. When the Rebbe sent us out in 1965. Doing this Yeshua, the Rebbe guided us which direction to move. So the Mashal, when it came, I'm here in town. So what's the first thing we'll do? We'll open up a Mesivta Shabbos. The first Shabbos we're here. Yeah, I ran Mesivta Shabbos in New York when I was the Bucher. Okay, now we'll give out zettlach, party, children, candies, soda, stories, songs. My episode for me about she took the girls upstairs in the Young Israel on Melrose Avenue. Rabbi Gummans was angesund. Now it's Young Israel and Chabad on Melrose. I had the boys downstairs. Right after Shabbos, Rabbi Reicher calls up, Shlomo, Sachorben. The Poile Agitas Yisrael Zugen, die ist gemischt, jünglich mit meidlich. I said, it's not true. That was my Shalom Aleichem who came here. There was no Lubavitcher Rebbe. Rabbi Reicher was the shliach of the previous Rebbe here, a Kaira Yid. He was not only a shliach here, he was a shliach across the country for the Rebbe. Shudar. From the Friedrich Rebbe's days yet. His job was not to open up institutions. But there was no Lubavitcher shul. Come in. Rabbi Reichik says, you know what, Rabbi Tarshis is a shul on Melrose Avenue. He wants to move to Israel. He wants a couple of bucks a month. And we can have a shul. I go into the Rebbe. Every time you came, you went in your chiddush. The Rebbe says, a shul. Shleima. How is it going to support itself? One down. And when the Rebbe gave you an answer, that was the answer. It didn't necessarily mean that the reasons the Rebbe gave you was his real reason. That's not your business. But not to burn your fuses. Rebbe gives you an answer. Okay, come up with another plan. There's a wonderful Yid that works in Chabad.org called Berghoff. His grandfather was one of the first Baltruvas we had. Marvin Gotz was on Zangesund. And I see a building on Robertson Boulevard. It's a what are they called? He was a big lawyer in the Attorney General's office. He also was a real estate agent. So there's a swimming school for sale on Robertson Boulevard. It's a great idea. Wow. It'll be a swimming Talmud Torah. Sunday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, the boys and their counselor come. They do their swimming from 8 to 9. 9 to 10 they learn. They go home. 10:30 the girls come with their girl counselors and lifeguard. They swim. Then they learn for an hour. Great idea. It's a good idea even today. And all the figure shows we make money. We don't lose money. We'll teach swimming cheaper. And they'll come to swim in the mail as long as they should learn them. Going to the Rebbe. The Rebbe says, what's that to me? That was $100,000 there. But they were willing to carry the mortgage. There was enough money coming in from the payments for the school. The Rebbe says, was ist? Was soll man sagen? Kommen zu vorne, ein junger Mann, young person came, kam gekommen in Los Angeles, ausgegeben $100,000, spent $100,000. Ah! The Rebbe went with the heilige hand. Ah! That's too down. The Rebbe wants something else. That was the days of the hippies. Hippies were beautiful people. These were people whose parents, grandparents were people from Europe that came, Holocaust survivors, people who ran away from the pogrom in Russia. They came to America, came to Ellis Island, cut off the beards, threw it overboard, took the Tallison film. Ellis Island, they said, what's your name? If they wanted to be more assimilated, they would say Smith instead of Goldsmith. Less, they would say gold. Then they came, they opened up a candy store, they bought liquid cherries for 2 cents, sold it for a nickel. Egg creams, 5 cents, sold it for 10. Penny to penny, sent the kids to college. They would become doctors. Those who couldn't stand the sight of blood would become lawyers. And they made a lot of money. Now the kids is the hippie generation. And they say, what's life all about? Oh, let me go talk to the rabbi in the temple where I'm by mitzvah. Hi, Rabbi, I'd like to talk about God. God? Well, I never think about it. Oh, let me go to the Hare Krishna, one of these Indian cults. Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Nebuch. And then they revolted against the Vietnam War. A.B. Hoffman, burn, baby, burn. And these people were beautiful people. They never took a bath or a shower. You could smell them before you could see them. They would wear garlic on their belts to push away the witches. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. As I told you earlier, barely being able to pay the rent for $125 a month in Fairfax. One Friday night, Leil Shabbos Kodesh, we would take our mattresses off, the hippies would sleep on it. And then I would take them to shul. Rabbi Ginsburg's shul, Hashem. He was a Holocaust survivor. And you could smell him before you could see him. People looked. And Ginsburg said, I weiß was it is. Don't bother him. The next Friday night would be girls, hippies. Today, many of them are Hasidic Bobbers and Hasidic Zaydas. But the landlord finally said, you can't pay me the rent. Mr. Jose, wow, I'm tired of you. And you can't keep bringing these people. They come with cars painted yellow with flowers all over it. You can't keep bringing it to my house. My wife is not happy. It was a fourplex, 4 apartments. Still there today. 424 North Stanley. I want you to move. I said, I have no money to move. He said, I'll find you a place. He moved me a block away. But it's Nishka business. So I would never write the Rebbe about Chalomis. I said, you know what? I was invited by Hillel at UCLA. In fact, his lecture is even online, which I don't have to listen to me. I haven't changed my speeches since the 60s till today. Same thing. I have to listen to myself. And I hit it off with the kids. I was invited to the Hillels to come and speak at UCLA again and again and again and again, to the Reform temples, the conservative temples. I was crazy and they were crazy. It was a good thing. But it was too much. We had to release time, go and get ready. We had no money. So I said, you know what? Let's go look for a building at UCLA. All the fraternity houses then were being taken over by the hippies because frat houses were out of business in the days of the hippie revolution. They were there smoking drugs, making churbanis in the fraternity houses. Sure enough, there's a sign across the street from UCLA that says for sale. I'm pretty good with numbers. Said how many square feet it was, a lot. I said, okay, we have to call up the broker. In the car with me together, the truck, or release time truck, that would pull a big 35-foot trailer, because nobody would let me into the shuls with my fight with the Federation, which is not for now, to be able to do release time. So we had 35 kids on a big mobile unit, and a truck would pull it for Army surplus. And we go out looking, we spot the building. Okay, who has a dime? I look at my pockets, I haven't got a dime. And we're going to buy a building, remember, to ask the Rebbe. Avraham Levitansky all over Shalom says he has no money. Victor Kurtzman all over Shalom says he has no money. I said, wait a second. There's bottles, empty bottles we used to give the kids in release time soda. The big bottles, 5 cents, was a deposit for the bottle. There was a Safeway store down the street, cashed in the bottles. We called up the broker, left a message. He wasn't there, called up Marvin Goldsmith. Come over to the house. I tell him the story, my vision. We have to ask the Rebbe if I can tie it up. Then I can ask the Rebbe. Right across the street from UCLA, I make my cheshbonis. Comes to $2,225,000. Now remember, we haven't got a dime to call the broker, but what's the problem? If you haven't got a dime, you haven't got $2,250,000, what's the difference? No difference. Fine. What do? We go to Marvin, he runs the math, he says, where'd you get that number from? I said, so much per square foot. He said, it's not $2,225,000. It's $225,000. You added an extra zero. Oh, I said, Mazel Tov, wow. He said, what's the Mazel Tov about? I said, I made $2 million in your living room. He said, you haven't got a penny. Where are you going to find $225,000? Make you a very long story short, Al Pines, we got it tied up, all cash, 30 days, $125,000. Half of the $250,000. Now we got to ask the Rebbe. You don't come with Chalemis to the Rebbe, you come with a practical thing. Go into Yechidus, tell the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, gleich angehabt. The Rebbe said, gleich angehabt. And then, I'm shortening a long story because when we gave the key to the Rebbe, I'm shortening a very long story, making a long story short. The Rebbe said, we should call them all by the same name. He asked Marvin, the key to which Chabad house is this? Marvin says there's only one Rebbe, and by farbrengen, and the Rebbe says, don't be so humble. It'll spread from the west to the north, which actually turned out to be berserkly, Sivan, from the north to the south, which ended up being San Diego.
That's when the Rebbe said to Yodel to bring scotch.
That's correct. S. Diego. That's I called Sam Shmuel. S. Diego. It's when we gave the Rebbe the key in Sivan. So the Rebbe looks, says, Shleimah, ich kann es bei dir nicht nehmen. I can't take the key. I thought I'd get a heart attack. So the Rebbe says, we can't schreiben, you can't write. Samach Alef Nun, darf schreiben Samach mit der Pintele. S mit der Pintele. Wem fährst du? Wenn der Rebbe testen. Wenn es dir getragen worden. Morgen in der Früh. Judel, bring scotch. And I have the scotch tape, by the way, with the pieces of paper. So the Rebbe, key is lying on the Rebbe's desk. The Rebbe takes with the heilige hand. Judel's going to bring the scotch tape, ties up little pieces of paper, tears up, puts it down on the A-N and Aleph Nun, and the Rebbe takes it with the heilige hand. Then the scotch tape would be a large dispenser, like this, 8 inches wide or whatever the case is. Long, 4 inches wide. The Rebbe tore off the tape, but jetzt kann ich es bei dir nehmen. Now go back to where the naming. So the Rebbe said, man soll sie rufen alle mit demselben Namen. You should call it, and the Rebbe said, and from go to the north, to the south, and from there to the east, where we really need them. You should call them all by the same name, Chabad House. Just like Gimbel's, the department stores, which was a big chain years ago, like May Company is today. Person comes in the city, he looks to find the Gimbel's, which he knows from his city, he finds it in the telephone book. Same thing will be with Chabad houses. And the Rebbe says, the key is mine. Yes, so it says, if that's the case, my hand will be always on the door. It should never be closed for men, women, and children. So that's the story of the first Chabad house in the world. That's the story. Now, so we opened up the first Chabad house in the world. We already had opened up Long Beach before that, which was the first day school under the Rebbe's Nesias, in a community where there was nothing whatsoever there. Another miracle story, but not for now. And then comes, so now we have Long Beach, the day school, and Shul, which is all good in the community, no Orthodox synagogue or anything else like that. We start from scratch. The Chassidish Zaydas and Bubbas, Shluchim, that came from the day school we opened up in Long Beach. Shluchim, today, heading up Moses. I sent our own daughters. So that's gesund. Hebben ze gaan Hecht from Brentwood, with Baruch Yosef, her husband, so they zijn gesund. And Rabbi Rebbetzin begun from Fairfield Hills. They went to school there, and we had to send cookies for the 2 classes, 7 kids in each class, because nobody kept kosher besides them. And now there's 30 Chassidim from there. So now we have the Chabad house. Now comes Shnas HaShivim. Hashem, Asisi, Alemeisha. Rabbi Talashevsky, who's a Mechutens Nigel. Le'elam, Tanz. I have a videotape in my head. Hashem, Chassidei, Hey, Le'elam. And the Rebbe says, the Sikhs and so on. Then the Rebbe gave a storm with Nigen, Chaim.
I'm a brother.
The Rebbe gave a Sturm with the Nigen. And then the Rebbe said, Azevi Mushteit and I. So there's a videotape of this. Azevi Mushteit and I. So the Rebbe said, people were saying to him, well, it's yes, outside, you should retire. And the Rebbe said, Kodim Kol, person is only as old as he thinks he is, as he feels he is. And then you don't look at passport years. That's not how you look at what age means. I want to have Ayin Aleph numbers. Shortening a long story, I get a message to the Rebbe, either during the farbrengen or right after the farbrengen, to Rabbi Goner or Rabbi Shalom and Chodakov, and I'm taking 10% to open up the Moses. 10% to open up the Moses, 7, which ultimately we ended up, it's on the internet, the book, the Ayin Aleph book of the Moses we opened up. The first one was Northern California, which was Berkeley. I took into Yechidas then, there was Rabbi Driesen, was angesund, I think he lives in Israel today. And he was then Melamed.
High taster doctor.
Dr. Driesen, okay. So we took him into the Rebbe. He was a Melamed. That's designed to Ashton Mercy, Northern California. We opened up, bang, bang, bang. Keys to the Rebbe, keys. The Rebbe had to bring a photographer to the Rebbe's room. To bring a photographer, Cunin should bring a photographer to the Rebbe's room to take a picture with a key. But the Rebbe haste. Because the Olam was sleeping. And I'm not talking about Mosdes. Son Mechnefrim, Zekif Kufufim, Mater Asurim. Talk of real Mosdes. Simcha Maneke, Berkeley, San Diego, v'chulu, mikvahs. Aber Heitzig made a mikveh in Long Beach. Gave keys to the Rebbe, everything. Now, Shlosh Shivan goes by. So I raised millions of dollars with the Rebbe's made in the Kibbutz. We bought these buildings, story after story, mamish nisim gui. Then it comes to Purim of going towards the next few dollars nisim. So now all the monies that we raised, I had $200,000 worth of chayvus. $200,000 worth of chayvus. I'm not going to ask the Rebbe for money. Many others did, but I didn't. But I always would send reports. And I was very careful not to make an issue of this. So I didn't raise it. The chayvus in my zettel to the Rebbe. And I go into the Rebbe, and the Rebbe is there, aufgelegt. Very, 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 very besimcha. Very, very much besimcha. And I say nothing about the money. I'm not thinking about the money. And as the Yeshiva is over, the Rebbe says, "What's the shleim? Kommst Geld? Your money? What should I do?" The Rebbe's asking a question. I go, "You don't talk in the Rebbe's room." Okay. Wieviel? The Rebbe says 200. That's without my writing to the Rebbe. 200,000? I go like this. You have to answer. Okay. Kum Shleimer. The Rebbe motions to me to come closer to the desk. The Rebbe opens up the desk drawer and starts counting money. The Rebbe asked me first, when fährst du? I said, wenn der Rebbe heißen. Wenn es dir getracht worden, morgen in der Früh. Komm her zu Schleimer. Darfst du 200,000, ich will dir geben. I'll give you, you need 200,000, I'll give it to you. And the Rebbe smiling. The Rebbe opens up the Heilige drawer, and the Rebbe starts counting money in the drawer. Pushes together a pile of bills, and the Rebbe said, "Darfst du 200,000? Nadir." And the Rebbe smiles and says, "Das ist $1,000." Es verkaufen jeder Star for 20,000. You'll sell every bill for $20,000. And it's the home, 200,000. Is that a problem? No problem. Call up right away, get a reservation TWA. The first flight back, I said I want to have a driver, bottle of Crown Royal, lekach, cups. I go to Lester Finkelstein, was the first one. What do you need? I need this and this and this and this. Okay, not a problem. What's your name? What's your daughter's name? She had big problems. I'll take care of it for you. Here's the bill, $20,000. I promise you, the Rebbe will take care of it. Fine, one down. Go to another person, and they shoot it. They just started a new business. Rolling Banal all of a sudden. When he died, there was a billionaire. We come into him. I met him because I helped him on a different issue. I said, you're trying to build a business. You want to build a business? Here, buy this bill for $20,000.
Rabbi Cunin.
Yes.
Wir werden sagen, der Safe von der Meister ist nicht so freilich, weil der Rebbe hat die Cover da reingemischt in dem. But the Hashem G-D, you made, hat gemacht in Hashem G-D?
No, that's Salashevsky.
Aha.
I did Yifrak B'Yom of Tzadik.
Aha, but du hast gleich reingeschrieben zu Rebbe, als du nimmst dann die 10 Meisters. Nicht wie Battle.
10%.
10 for the year. Nicht wie Battle kommt mit dem Geld und das heißt, sind Koch.
10%.
Yeah, okay.
Why do you say the Meister is not reingemischt? I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Nee, ich sage, das safe, weil das nächste Jahr hat die Kopf etwas gesagt wegen der Lernen zu verkaufen.
What does that have to, what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay.
That has the Yechidus with the Rebbe, not with Chodaka.
Yeah.
Well, let me go continue further.
Okay.
It was very freilich, never mind, not freilich. So whatever the case is, I say, okay, I promise you 100 times as much. Give me a letter, give it to me in writing. I give him a letter, call up Chodakov, the phone, zugesagt, 100 Mal as a film, and story after story after story, the Rachlan, over Shalom, his kids, his granddaughters were a lot of money, and they were going with Shkotzim, and he said he wanted that they shall chaslam fayidin, promised him all the aftachas. Another Gvir whose daughter was going with a guy, promised them all the aftachas, wrote it into the Rebbe, called them every time. Ich habe zugesagt, the bill is such and such and such. This is what I promised, and the year goes by. We open up more moisters. Now I owe 250,000. Coming to the Rebbe, Yechidus, and before we went to Yechidus, it was sehr schwer, and the Rebbe wanted so to tell him, 1000 Shalachmanis. Everybody was looking, what are we going to do? We have to find Hamantashen. I said, dummies, what are you looking for Hamantashen? The Rebbe wants Shalachmanis, thousands of Shalachmanis. 2 Stella cookies, which were kosher. 2 Barton's candies, 2 pennies, and a little zetala. Let's say that 7,000 shalachmanis, 7,100, which we did. In the middle, somebody came, and Samuel died, which was a Holocaust survivor, and he has no family. He gave us a will. He came to the office and said, if I'm going to die, he had no money. He was Subrach of sticker. He had on his arm the numbers, no family. And if something happens to me, so we had a form, a regular will. I give everything to Chabad. Chabad should take care of me. If I die, he has the right to take the body and bury. So on top of all of this, we had to bury him. Fine. Come zum Rebbe, go into the Rebbe's Yechidus. The Rebbe looks up, what's his weiterstellen? That's some Geld. I go like this. Wie viel darfst du haben jetzt? 250. Was habe ich getan für dir vor Jahren? Don't say nothing. Ich habe dir gegeben Geld. Richtig? Mhm. Du hast verkauft die Geld. Richtig? Du hast zugesagt jeden. Aber wenn es Hashem Schleime, hast du sie zugesagt. Was ist geworden? Then I opened my big mouth. And I started to tell the Rebbe the miracles of every single one of the stories. With der größten Starkheit. Zugesagt, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And the Rebbe said, Schleime kannst zusagen, der schwer wird mir herausschlagen. Then the Rebbe says, was ist tragst du jetzt, Schleime? Ich will dir geben Geld, das ist dir helfen? Now, you try not to think in the Rebbe's room, but the Rebbe says, was tragst du? So what happens? The human mind, you can't control. Bang. And why not? Right? The mind says, why not? No, du tragst. Ich will dir geben Geld, das ist dir helfen. Das ist der Eingehen schon auf Chodekov. Hat dir geben Geld. And then the Rebbe, as I'm walking out, says, das Rebbe ist geschrieben in one of the reports. Wenn er Jid wird es geholfen, Holocaust survivor, du hast geschrieben, etwas am Meister, Zavon, du hast ihn beerdigt. Which, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I sent in that Shalach Monos to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe sent it back to me out of Shabbos Kodesh. And the Rebbe wrote Shuas Chaim for the Shalach Monos, but Mitzurah Bozem and Shalach Monos Loi. That's I got Shalach Monos from the Rebbe gave me back those Shalach Monos. I ate the cookies myself and took the bottomless candies and diluted it with vodka. Und man verbracht das Shabbos. Hashag was screaming, Cunin, was hast du schicken? Du kannst da rum was zu sagen. Whatever the case is. I was upstairs in the shul. Going back to where we were before. So I come back, called Lester Finkelstein. You did so well, your daughter's doing so well. I want to see you. What about another bill? He said, you want $20,000? I'll give it to you. I don't need another bill. I'm very happy. Go to the next one, same story. Something's wrong. I sit down with Avemo of Hashem G-D. We reviewed the Yechidus, and the Rebbe said, "Was is given?" Oh, I forgot to say. And as I was walking out, the Rebbe said, we had a will from Fryer. There was a Yid called Samuel Fryer. The building on Olympic is called after him, Samuel Fryer Hill Hebrew Academy, originally. So we had a tzavor with him, and then there was problems we had to settle. What's the given what you settled? I go like this, Now we're sitting talking to the Tensky and I. So the Rebbe said afterwards, you had a tzavor, Fryer, we settled. Hold on. Let's go to Sammy's apartment. He lived on Veteran Avenue. Come to the apartment. We start looking for the managers, 5 units or 6 units. Start knocking on doors. Finally, one student opens up. I said, where do we find the manager? We have to get into Sammy's apartment. What do you mean? Sammy was the manager. Aha. Making a long story short, that ended up rolls of stock certificates, bank books, $675,000. Or 560, gedenkt is klaar. But the Rebbe said we're settling. So we come to court. He has to take 120 days. In walks a Jewish lawyer with a red tie and says, Your Honor, I am here representing his family. I looked at him. I said, Your Honor, we want to have a meeting together in the attorney-client room. We'll figure it out amongst ourselves. We go into the attorney-client room like this, give him a chop on by his red tie. I said, listen to me. You're a liar. You know he has no family. You found a Jewish name, You're trying to cook up a story? I got a check in my pocket. I'll give you $50,000. It's either you take this check or there'll be nothing left of you. Do you understand? You start to shake. The Rebbe goes, settle him. Wrote him a check for $50,000. Coming to the judge. The judge says, we settled amongst ourselves. He says yes. And that was the end. We ended up with net $565,000. That's the Nissim from Rebbe. And you see the Nissim from Rebbe then. These same Nissim from Rebbe we have today. But what does the Rebbe want from us? Our emunah, our simcha, our bitachon. That's what the Rebbe wants. The Rebbe wants to know that we are fighting for Geula, Kol HaSforim, Kol HaKsovim, Kol HaChveitzim. And we believe we're going to get them. The Rebbe says, the Yechidus, the last Yechidus I had by the Rebbe, before the last one, which was after Chav Zayin Adar, when I gave the Rebbe the 7 Svarim in the Rebbe's room. The Rebbe said, Shlomo is Swiss, I was Rebbe's rabbi, I don't know if I was the Zocher Begodel, to give the Rebbe the tick, the files of Rebbe Levi Yitzchak, which we got from the KGB after the fall of, so-called fall of communism, where the Rebbe sent me back. It's another story, walked by the Rebbe. So I came in from Mendes Chasana. So the Rebbe said, Ben Foster Tzarik? So I didn't answer. So the Rebbe looks, I said, Dr. Chasana. Mendes Chasana, I believe was Chayel, if I remember correctly. No, bis jemalt is that Zeit. You can go back to Russia. And the Rebbe gave me $1, which is on a videotape. So Smiler sein, der Sei, der Klippe von Lenin. Man sagt, that gestammt von Jeden. And then I opened my mouth, which I shouldn't have, and said, the Deutsch hat gesagt. I said, go gewinnen again. So the Rebbe, zieh, because I gave the Rebbe a Tillin that was covered with a catalog cover from the Lenin Library, which I would sit and say Tillin in front of the Rishoyim and say, this is Sama Davida. This is the Tillin. And King, and then David HaMelech will take care of you. And so the Rebbe looked at this, allein gedruckt, hat von Lenin Neuchet. And the Rebbe said, "Chub zu dir Katain ist nicht." That's how that conversation started. So we got to Russia, just enough time to be there for the coup. Ilu Zochinu, what we schon allein gewähnt, in Yerushalayim mit dem Rebbe zusammen, und L'chaim soll der Eibischte geben, die Geula, Amitis war Schleima, von aller Svarim, und die Ksovim, und die Chveitzim, befragt, das ist Ashas, Yisrotzim, v'chulu, L'chaim.
But if you could explain to the Bachrim, in case they don't know exactly, in other words, these Sfarim, we're fighting for the goal of this Sfarim, and in other words, these Sfarim coming out, it's not just about, in other words, they're very connected with the Gula, Amitis Vashleit. People died to release these Sfarim. Why are these, what's so important about these Sfarim?
Okay, let me tell you the history. Let me tell you the story. Let me tell you the story, the history of this.
I want to make a quick l'chaim also.
A what?
Quick l'chaim. My brother Moshe Martel, it's his wife, my sister-in-law Henna, it's her birthday also. Sivan, so I want to make a l'chaim to Henna Markel also on her birthday. L'chaim.
Amen.
Please go with the history. Continue.
Amen. So whatever the case is, we're coming out now with a kuntres. We'll have the history of it. I will buy a farbrengen by the Rebbe, Yutas Kisler. And the Rebbe is talking. And the Rebbe says, so there are those that have international connections. The Rebbe said, in English, there are those that have international connections. They have to use these connections to be able to do what's right. We looked around after the Sikh and nobody understood who the Rebbe was talking to. The next morning, I get a call from Jerry Weintraub over show. Cunin, he was a big Hollywood producer, multimillionaire. Cunin, the Rebbe spoke to me. Tell the Rebbe I'll do whatever he wants. I said, Mr. Weintraub, I don't talk to the Rebbe. You have to tell me what to tell the Rebbe. I can't have to write something down or give it over to one of the secretaries. The Rebbe will know. The Rebbe will know. Okay. You still have to give me more information. How did the Rebbe talk to you? I was in Malibu playing with my satellite dish. There was no internet then on as there is now. And the Rebbe is talking to me, who has connections. I have connections. I'm going to go soon with Dr. Ahmed Hammer, who was one of the biggest Gevidim in the world, Occidental Petroleum, who, as the Rebbe said later, very interconnected between America and Russia. So whatever the case is, he tells me, tell the Rebbe whatever I want, I'll do. Okay? I was going to talk to Rabbi Krinsky. I figured I'll talk to him after Mincha. Drives the Rebbe home. He could talk to the Rebbe, tell the Rebbe, I'll take him to the Rebbe Tzechana. The Rebbe was looking at me at Mincha, looking. Okay? I owed a lot of money then, like I usually do, today also. The Rebbe's looking. Then Rabbi Gorno, son comes over to me. After Mincha, says, the Rebbe will design. Take the elevator up to the third floor. When you walk into 770, there's an elevator that takes you up to the third floor. And then you'll take the wooden steps down. And so the Rebbe will design. Nobody should know. Take the elevator, come down. The Rebbe looks at me, and the Rebbe says, Sachen in Russland bieten sich. Things in Russia are changing. These are the days of Brezhnev. They bieten sich in Russland. So da unsere Sforim. We have our Sforim. Was andere halten, sie sind verbrannt geworden. Other people say they were burnt. Aber ich weiß, dass sie nicht das sehen. Jetzt ist die Zeit, man darf gefunden Sforim, und sie bringen ein Herz zu. To bring them here where they have to come. Du hast doch a good friend. You have a good friend. His name is Jerry. Sein Name is Jerry Weintraub. Now remember, I didn't talk to you, Lou. I didn't write it, settle nothing. Hat a good Chaber. His name, sein Name is Ahmed Hammer. Is from beide Seiten von der Rendel. He's involved on both sides. This side and that side, in other words, very deeply involved in what was going on in Russia, not just in America. So Weintraub is a good friend of Hammer, and we'll be able to get this for him. Then the Rebbe looks up, and the Rebbe says, not the Geld for the Shlichus. The Rebbe gave me money. Not the Geld for Weintraub, soll haben at a Furslim. He should have it Furslim, okay. Now the Rebbe's looking at me. So I say, the Rebbe, Weintraub hat mich gerufen. Schön. Und hat gesagt, hat gehört, was der Rebbe will. Wird alles tun, was der Rebbe will. Der Rebbe hat noch geschmeichelt. Said nothing else. The Rebbe gave me money for him. I jump on the plane. Come to Los Angeles. I have all of his numbers. Start calling the Beverly Hills house. No, Jerry's not here. Malibu, not here. Palm Springs, not here. Cell phone goes to voicemail. I go to a good friend, George Kahneman of Hashem. Very Yedid member of Jerry's. What happened to Jerry? Where is he? Nobody knows, but I know because he called me. He ended up with a hiatal hernia, which could be very life-threatening. He was up in Lake Tahoe, flew back with a private jet. He's in Cedar-Sinai Hospital. but you'll never find him because he doesn't go in under his own name. I said, okay. I come there, I figure he's coming into the hospital, he's gotta come into the emergency room. Go to the emergency room, Baruch Hashem. There's a nurse that knew Rabbi Sturm, so sein gesund. Told her, a Russian lady. I started talking to her. She knew who I was. Do you know somebody that came in with this and this problem? She says, yes. Hold on, let me call up upstairs. Yeah. He's coming out of recovery on the 4th floor. I jump into the elevator. Sure enough, he's in the hallway. I see him. He opens up his eyes, very verschlafen. Cunin! Give me the Rebbe's money. The Rebbe sent me money. Give me the Rebbe's money. That's how the shlichus began. And Dr. Hammer started to fight. And as the Rebbe said later, the neshamas of all the Rabbeim are in these Sfarim, and they are in prison. How did they get there? When the Rebbe Rashab in World War I had to leave Lubavitch, he took whatever he could with him, certain Sfarim, the rest he put into storage in the Perzitz, who was a follower of the Rebbe Rashab, storage houses, and paid for it because he couldn't take it with him. They were in the Perzitz storage houses. When the communists took over the Perzitz storage houses, they find these Sfarim, and they didn't know what to do with it. They took it to the London Library. That's how they ended up in the London Library. The Rebbe Rashab, till his Estalkus, what did we give him? The Rebbe the Shver, the Shlichus. To get my Sfarim back, he gave it over to the Rebbe the Shver. The Rebbe the Shver then, when he had to run, a lot of his ksovim, and certain Sfarim ended up, some of them in Poland, which Baruch Hashem came back to the Rebbe, or brought back to the Rebbe. And the rest of them, everybody felt was destroyed. The Rebbe said, no, everything is God's. And that's how our shlichus started. Dr. Hammond knew the top-notch people, they made a fool out of him. Like he used to say, I fly in with my private plane from the famous Hermitage Museum, I get ancient menorahs out of gold. I pay them COD, cash under the table, obviously. I have a list of refuseniks, those that were not allowed to leave Russia. They bring them to my plane, so I take them with me. I can get whatever I want. Other than the Sfarim, they played with him for years. Till finally I asked the Rebbe, maybe we should go physically to Russia. The Rebbe said yes. We went to Mishlachas. Rabbi Nissim Mendel, Oliver Shalom, who spoke perfect Russian, the Rebbe's secretary, one of the Rebbe's secretaries, Rabbi Shalom Ber-Levin, Sozan Gesund, who knows from the Sfarim, and myself. We had 3 times Yechidus. 3 times Yechidus. On that Sunday before we left, that was Chof Tevis. Before the Rebbe went to the oil, was once. Then Rabbi Mendel was not available, so the Rebbe said, before he goes to the oil, we should come back again. Rabbi Mendel was then available. The Rebbe again gave dollars in brachas. I was saying Kaddish for my father. Plane was leaving late at night. British Airways that we took. There was no direct flights from here. Hammer flew with his own plane, but we didn't fly with him. And we stand. We get the news that Rebbe's coming back early from the oil. I daven Mincha mit der Yontif Tikkun Nusach. Then we went, the Rebbe called us. The Rebbe said, this is all printed, so it's the more exact Lashonis. And the Rebbe said, als Rebbe said, Chof Tevis, fort mitach mit dem Rambam. The Rambam is going with you. Als Rebbe said, geht Chof Dal Tevis, fort mitach mit der Alte Rebbe. And I said, als Rebbe, the Rebbe is the Mishalech, fort the Rebbe mit uns. The Rebbe is going with us. The Rebbe said, Amen. So my entire Talmidim, you see how the Shlichus started. The Rebbe sagt etwas wörtlich. Der Rebbe sagt etwas wörtlich. Der Rambam fort mit euch. Der alte Rebbe fort mit euch. And we say the Rebbe fort. That's what the battle for Sforim is. That's Milchemes HaMashiach. That's really what it amounts to. The first sefer that was released was a personal Tanya of the Friedrich Rebbe, which the Russians didn't realize, thanks to my son, Rabbi Yossi Cunin.
What is this? Are you
The
muted?
personal Tanya of there was a Matona, it says Matona on the cover. Matona to the Menayel HaChevra, to the head of the factory, because we couldn't write the Yeshiva. The name of the Rebbe the Shred, B'noi Shal Kvot Tushus Ad Mushliti, the days of the Rebbe Rashab. We got that with Moscow from Vice President Gore. You must understand. 3 times, the entire United States senators wrote letters to the Russian government to give it back. Who does gehört geworden? An entire Senate, 3 times, not once. We were there doing the coup. Yeltsin promised, if I live through it, you'll get it. The 7 more were brought back. This is all after Chavzayin, were brought back by President Clinton on his airplane. The 7 Svarim and the Tanya are in the Rebbe's room, next to the Rebbe's Becher, and the other Taira Zachem behind the glass in the Rebbe's room. That's where they are. And I had the schus to give the Rebbe the 7 Svarim. I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to talk about that. But I had the schus to do that. This is, the Rebbe said, we went to Yechidus. And we bought the tik, the portfolio, as I said earlier in this farbrengen, of the Rebbe, of Levi Yitzchak, with his picture, the Rebbe was looking at it, Megendik, with the letters of the Rebbe Tzachana to Beryeh Yimach Shema B'Zechai, the head of the chief of the secret police. And the Rebbe said, see, the Rebbe was very honest. Shleim is als wissen, jeder Regel des Forums seiner Mashivya ist a mitzvah from Peter Shvui. I took a very deep breath. And I said, if the Rebbe wordt gewollt, wordt ze gewend op de Gulas Asforim. The Rebbe gewoon zeer ernst, because I believe met dat man by Rebbe. Was ist Shleim, du bist machoshet? I took a deep breath and said, me sagt auf der Rebbe, das ist Tzaddik, was Menachem Shmei v'hu Yinachamenu. Als sitzt in Lubavitcher and Friton in Pittsburgh. He sits in Lubavitcher and runs the government in Pittsburgh. And he saw, as it's a gelegt by Rebbe. So you have to understand, the Rebbe Rashab gave the shlichus of the Svarim to the Friedrich Rebbe. And remember, when the Friedrich Rebbe started fighting to get the books back, with the United States government pushing the Russians at that time, 6 million Jews were burning. And the Rebbe fought for the Svarim. The Friedrich Rebbe, the Svarim. Because it's the battle of Moshiach is this one. And that's what I have to say. It's l'chaim, l'chaim, wat de Eebster Achmanis haben, so bottle werden, die alle schöne dicke Klippes. In Gimel Tammuz soll sein Tag, von Shemesh begeben Dein, von Aschalta de Gehula, von der Rebbe der Schwer, und tanzen mit der Rebbe zusammen. In der Beis Hamidrash Ashlishi mit allen Svarim, und der Kshavim und der Chveitzi, l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Rabbi Cunin, I know there's, listen, like you said, there's things that I know we can always ask you questions. If you don't want to talk about it, you won't talk about it. And maybe it's a personal matter, but as a child who grew up running around Chabad house, right? And watching the interplay between Hasidim. So I have to say that in the beginning, when you heard Bitzalel was on and you said you owe him an answer, I can't help but tell you I'm very curious. As a little child that grew up around you and Bitzalel being our tatis, if you can't talk about it, you can't talk about it. But I'm so curious and what you meant by that.
I'm not going to talk about it now.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'll take a few more questions, and then Dr. Shabbat David and Mine.
So let's ask are Bachrim, do any of the Bachrim have specific questions in application of Hasidus and being a Chassid today? Do we have, what's it called? Any of the Bachrim?
I have a question.
Oh,
yes.
Daneya?
Yeah.
Ask the question.
Being around the Rebbe and feeling that feeling when you're around the Rebbe, is there any times that now that the Rebbe has passed away physically, that you feel that you are around the Rebbe, that he's with you, that the Rebbe is like with you? Like when do you feel that the most? Like when do you feel that? Is it by when you're in when you go by the Ohel, when you go by
whenever the Rebbe wants, whenever you need him, the Rebbe is with you. I go every Shabbos Merachim for many, a quarter of a century, to the Ohel, and then to the Rebbe's room. And now it says, "B'mokim she'etzani shalom, sham hu nimtza." Where you want to be, you are. So you want to be at the Ohel, you're at the Ohel. If you want to be in the Rebbe's room, putting your face down on the glass of the Rebbe's desk, you're there, wherever you want to be. You're never alone. Wherever you go and wherever you stand, I'm always holding you by your hand. Wherever you go and wherever you stand, I'm always holding you by your hand. Hodu Hashem ki itev ki li'olam chazeh. Hodu Hashem ki itev ki li'olam chazeh. Tatinu, steh ich bei dein Tisch. Tatinu, ich betze bei dir. Tatinu, helf schon mir. Wir kommen zu beten bei dir. Tatenu, helf schon mir. Kommen zu beten bei dir. Schliach, mein Kind, du darfst doch verstehen, ich bin von dir nicht weg. den ich gelost allein. Wo du stehst und wo du gehst. Bin ich doch zusammen mit dir. Wo du stehst und wo du gehst. Bin ich doch zusammen mit dir. Wenn du kommst und du stehst bei meinem Team, du stehst nicht allein, ich steh doch mit dir. Und wenn auf dein Schlich ist, gehst du raus von der Tür, geh ich doch zusammen mit dir. Und wenn auf dein Schlich ist, gehst du raus von der Tür, geh ich doch zusammen mit dir. Tut jeder eine, als was ihr kennt. Macht das Zeug von der Galus, Fahre brennt ihre Wand. Und jemals mein Schliach, nehm ich dir. Zu der Beis Hamikdash, Haschlich ist dir. Und jemals mein Schliach, nehm ich dir. Zu der Beis Hamikdash, Haschlich ist dir. Die Beine Shalom, was Schaffe von der Welt. Gib uns die Kirches, die Gesund und die Geld. Die Beine Shalom, ich bete bei dir. Komm, komm, auf schön mir. Die Beine Shalom, ich bete bei dir. Komm, komm, auf schön mir. Hey, du Hashem, Kitay, Kivyalam, Hastay. Hey, du Hashem, Kitay, Kivyalam, Hastay. One song is worth 100,000 words. Chaim, Chaim.
I'm Lubracha. So Neach Vertel, you got I think a better answer than you bargained for, but I think Bekitzer, it doesn't look like the Rebbe left him for a second, and it looks like he always feels close to the Rebbe. That's what I'm getting out of it, Neach.
For all of you the same. The Rebbe didn't leave you either for a second.
Right, not anybody for a second.
What good Tati would leave his children alone? Which good Tati? Child abuse. Leave us alone? Is there any other possible understanding after 25 years and after the killing of the Holzbergs? Gekommen Kiddush Hashem? And all of these horrible tzaras we find ourselves with, and we're still here to talk about it? As we make an end of the scholars every millisecond? Every millisecond's going to come to an end? Push. Just push. You understand? Push. Push. Get hit. Hit him back. Do another mitzvah. Talk a little more chassidus. Say another capital term. Call another yid on the phone to put on film. Open another moist. That's what you have to do. What more can I say? Nothing more to say. I'll take one more question, then I go.
Yeah. Does any of the other Bachim have a question you want to ask? Or maybe Neach asked the question to end all questions. I don't know. But, and I think it's really the same question, the same thing. In other words, what, 1960s, the 1960s pushing to bring Moshiach, and all this many years, now you're pushing. Not only you're still pushing, you know, many people just the other way around. You're pushing even stronger than ever. What is giving you that kayach, that not only you didn't give up on it, but that you see what is it that you that's making you push now harder than ever before, even.
Because you see where the world is at today. There's no understanding in this. No understanding. The whole world is turned over. Then the riots and the killings and the karbonos. This is all the last milliseconds of Golos. And that's what we have to push. There's no understanding to this. Some Meshuggah eats a bat in China and the world turns over completely. Where was there ever something like this before? People marching with guns in the streets, burning buildings, looting stores. Doctors have no answers. Chabad houses closed. The Sefer Torahs crying. We're all alone. Baruch Hashem, you see the miracles. The President of the United States of America says, "So sein gesund." Prayer is so important. We have to see that we should be able to pray. And then the governor follows through. And then the cities allowed us to do it with masks. I have 1 million every day. We sit by different tables. We have a large Chabad house that we built. We have 1 million, everybody with masks, washing hands, getting aliyahs from the distance, everything, whatever that Rabbanim said to do. And it was a nest for them. But all of a sudden the president says, open up. How can everybody else say not to open up? And we were able to do it. Right before Shavuos. People to say this is Shavuos, Kabbalah Satorah. So.
Rabbi Cunin, one of the Bachrim asked if you can share about the menorahs in Tafshin Lamed Dalid that the Rebbe asked about Shimke Lazarov and David Raskin was standing.
Just like when it came to Shnas HaShirim, there are those that did and those that talked, right? When it came to the it came to the Shalach Monas, those that were looking for Hamantash, and those that said we can send out anything to make it work. Same thing when it came to Mifsach Chanukah. They ever wanted was to tell them Chanukah menorahs. So you do the first thing you do is you call up a distributor. Those metal menorahs. How many could there be? Nothing. How much could have had the distributors? So I took one of them, one of the tin menorahs, took it to the Crenshaw district, found a guy that cuts metal, gave him the menorah, and made over 10,000 menorahs, more than that. I'm not telling some of them. Then I came to the Rebbe and sent in a menorah to the Rebbe, the copies that we made. And the Rebbe said, as a shliach in the Platz, the Rebbe with the heilige hand. Who's it talking? Grace Hitler. Meaning Texas. That's the same chicken menorahs. And I sent them a few thousand menorahs. That's the answer. All right, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rabbi Cunin, for joining us, for farbrengen, for sharing with the Mesivta. We really, really appreciate not spending the time, but spending so much time to pass this on to these Bachrim, that the Mirz Hashem, that they're gonna go on to soldiers. They are soldiers. We really appreciate spending the time to pass this on to them.
Fine. So the Rebbe is to helfen. So sein Arzt, mission now at the end of the Golos, Chaim, L'chaim, L'chaim.
And I'll send to Mendy the recording.